What's up, everyone? It's Peace-Side with another YouTube video, and we just got our boy Jon Q, who got first at a case tournament at Quality.
I sure did.
With Dark World.
Of course, best deck, smiley face. It's really not that great, but it does have a lot of good orientation in terms of like how to break a board if you're going second, and if you're going first, it does do a lot of interesting stuff like hand ripping. It's always a good feeling.
It's good.
But let's just start it off from here.
All right, what did you play?
Starting off, we're playing like the basic numbers. We're playing 3 rainbow and 2 grapha, search, and then a pop. It's always unnecessary. Yeah. But the interesting thing is this card actually does enable your hand rip as well by 1. I'll explain that later on because it's kind of necessary. This as well, you get to look at your opponent's random card from their hand.
Also bounces.
It also does bounce. Both
like
of them
everything.
bounce.
Yeah.
It's always a good feeling.
Yeah.
By far the best card of the deck. Gensa.
Yes.
If you're not playing 3 Gensa, you're bad at this deck. I'm sorry, it's just the truth.
Go, dude. Gensa's the best card.
Field Spell Searcher, not a hard once per turn. The only hard once per turn is if you banish it, you get the special if you have gates on the field. Really, really good. It's multiple times where you special it, you bounce it back with Grapha, and then you continue your play from there.
Not once per turn on the discard either.
Not once per turn, that's what I'm saying. 3 of your Searcher, this is your Stratos of the deck. Search is literally any Dark World card. Very strong, very, very strong. And also is a reborn for your opponent's monster. Sometimes it does come up. I did it once to a Kashtira player, reborning back their Fenrir if they discarded.
Oh, wait, that's kind of sick.
It is. I discarded this off of Grapha. The Fusion Grapha, special summon Cerulea on their side, and then discarded this to reborn the Fenrir.
Oh, that's kind of fun.
It was really, really good. Play 2 Silva, you have to. This is for the hand rip.
Yeah. You didn't play the Lucent version where you summoned the Fiends from deck?
I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't even know what that version is.
Oh.
I do not know what that version is, but I bet it's pretty cool.
It's more like of a combo version. I always thought this version was a little bit nicer, but I'm like, you can do some cool, neat stuff.
Oh, for sure. But this is pretty clean. I like the 2. And then, of course, the 1. I only play 1, so I've seen people play 2. I didn't find it necessary. Majority of the time, once you get to this card anyways, you're already winning the game.
Yeah, the deck starts rolling.
Yeah, I mean, the deck is already rolling the moment you get this card to your hand. But that's it for the Dark World monsters. It's pretty simple. I think the numbers are pretty self-explanatory. Now, for my danger numbers, these are, I feel like, are completely incorrect. You do have to play 3, unfortunately, or fortunately, whatever one you want.
Yeah.
Searcher, it's always really good. I do play 2 Bigfoots. Of course, it's a level 8.
Yes,
you also like to pop cards off of a Rise Heart if they don't attach a Goliath.
Yes,
so that's
sir,
always
very
a good
nice.
feeling. I do like a Dark World dealing as well, so we're playing 2 Mothman. We're finally not in a tier format, so this card is actually kind of relevant for the deck now.
Yeah, because with tier, you're just discarding their effects. It was never worth it, I think. But yeah.
And then for the 1-ofs, we're just playing 1 Jackalope and 1 Sunoco. I did not own a gosh dang Chupacabra, so it's not in here. But if I did own Chupacabra, it would be within this 1-ofs. I wish it was better. Ooh, thank you. Oh shit, dropping cards, oh no! Anyways, but yeah. Absolutely. Shout out to TGS.
Best store in the area?
Absolutely. But it does come up. It came up at least enough times where I wanted the not the Jackalope, I'm sorry, the Chupacabra. But, I mean, it worked out fine without it. Obviously, got first place.
Yeah.
It didn't really matter, I guess, at that point.
No Big Bird or Ogopogo?
Ogopogo, I have no idea why you would play that card, personally. What? Again, I think it's just because I think it's a level 8.
Yeah, probably.
And then which one was the other one you mentioned?
Thunderbird?
Thunderbird, I mean, it's cute. I like popping cards that are set, but your deck does enough already with the Grapha plus a card in my side deck that also comes up later on in the game as well.
Yeah.
So the replacement for Choop was actually Salamander, and let me tell you something. I'm so glad I played this card. This card was ridiculous. It got me enough plays where my hand was very suboptimal. I opened all Dark World cards that wasn't Genta and this card, and then I actually started me the plays here. So it's very, very good.
Yeah.
Also, niche interaction, too, is when you destroy a monster by battle involving a fiend, or if your monster gets destroyed, you can always add his back to their hand from the grave. So
yeah.
it is always nice.
That card's very nice.
It is. It came up enough. And then, of course, the Zephyros, the honorary Dark World card.
Bounce.
Really good. I like paying 400 for another Gates. I think it's really good, so that's why we're playing it. And then because this deck is all gas, you can't really play enough. You can't play actually enough going second cards. But I will say the only going second card that I played necessarily was this. 3 Radiance. Very strong. It's a dark and it's a fiend. That's pretty much about it.
It do be fiending.
It do be fiending. It is kind of scary. Don't get me wrong. It is kind of scary to give this to a cash player because it is a level 7. But if your hand is enough gas, then you really shouldn't worry about this card at all. If anything, you're probably gonna bounce this back within a cautious play. I have done that once, and it did come up actually. So I don't think you should be scared about giving them a radiant whatsoever. But that's it for the monsters. I have no idea what the monster count is. Next is going to be 3 of the field spells. Mandatory. This card's crazy.
The card's insane.
And plus, you do need 3. If you're playing 2, I think it is incorrect. But I have seen, I think, one list that was playing it, and they obviously didn't do that well. So, but yeah. So, but you do for sure play 3, because you're going to be using 2 within the rotation of your combination. The third one does come up, and obviously with Zephyros it becomes a 4th one. So, of course, that's necessary.
Yeah.
You play 3 of the Allure because you need to dig into your deck. You really need to dig to your deck to your pieces. Also, if you're going second, you really need to find Radiant. So this is 1 card deeper to get into it.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. It's very good. I do play 2 Accession. This card is ridiculous as well. This card has gotten me enough games where I was playing against a Sorcerer player. Our boards was very suboptimal. He cleared my board, I cleared his board.
Yeah.
We ended up with 0 cards on field and 0 cards in hand. Every time I top deck a Dark World card, this card became live every turn, so it basically gave me a 3+1 every turn.
Yeah, that card's so good.
And compared to most lists are playing 1. I play 2 because I'm extremely afraid of them banishing one of them with a Rise Heart, so I always want to have 1 at least in the deck just in case.
Yeah.
You play the 1 Archive. It's okay. I mean, it's not that bad.
That they did it every time.
I've searched just the 1. I searched it only once off of Snow just to continue my play.
Yeah.
I do like to draw 2. The gain attack doesn't really come up, but sometimes if you are pushing for game, I guess it's okay. But you do have to play 1, I think.
Yeah. That's a very draw.
Your power spell, of course. This is your God card. You activate this card, you should be winning the game. If you don't, then you're just bad with the deck.
There's no more tier, so
yeah, exactly. So this card is really strong. And then for my other 2 1-ofs, this card is crazy. I like the nice little interaction with these 2 cards, especially because if you give them Cerulli, they're activating technically the monster effect on their side.
and they have a monster on field.
Exactly, and they have a monster on field, so Thrust is live, Talents is live, and you get to search in 2 as well. With the side cards that are in my side deck, this card does search out all other cards as well, but you can also search this as well if necessary. If you're looking for something else, you can even search this if also needed.
Yeah,
as
just
well.
draw power.
Exactly, but
No trade-in?
no trade-in. I know. I wanted to test it out, but I didn't know how to play the deck, so I just kind of threw cards together and see if it worked. And
I mean, if you're going to draw a spell in there, I think Allure is the best choice.
yeah, of course. I think Allure is possibly the best, honestly. And that's it for the main deck. It should be 40, if not 41, but
Yeah.
I didn't really count.
It's secretly 60 cards.
Yeah, maybe. You never know, yeah. For the extra deck, I think is also pretty self-explanatory, but I'll explain it anyways. 2 Graphas, you do need this because you're playing a session. And
Yeah.
also, discarding 1 off of your opponent's effect is very strong. The other thing, too, is that people don't realize that this card has a hidden ability. If it gets destroyed, guess what? You get to reborn back a Grapha.
Yeah.
And if you have a hand, whoever has a hand has to discard 1 as well. So it is really good.
Yeah.
Of course, the God card as well for the extra deck. This card helps a lot. There was times, too, where I went into main phase 2, couldn't kill them, but I ripped their hand. Link this away for this, reborn this, and then continue play with like a grapple play or something.
That's kind of fire.
It is really good. I like reborning.
Yeah.
You play the 3 Nightmares because they're all fiends, and you do need some kind of link climbing scenario. Sometimes you need to get rid of your Rainbow and your Grapha.
Yeah.
If you can't get them back into the grave, it is kind of unfortunate, so that's why you play these. And I had made this. I made this in my final round against Trap Chase. I kind of just cleared the board with all this. It was very good.
That's nice.
No
Griffin?
No Griffin. I know some people are playing Griffin just because of the Game 3 scenario where you can discard, what's it called? Devastating?
Yeah.
Devastating Virus, but I really didn't need it, to be honest. Next, for your hand loop enablers, your Akashic Magician and your Security Dragon. They both do the same thing. The whole point of them is just to bounce back to Cerulli for the loop. Or in scenarios where, like I said, you give them a Radiant, you can Radiant them 3 times and clear the rest of the board. It's very good. I personally like it.
Yeah.
And I have activated this effect 1 time to call Thrust to find it, and if I didn't resolve it, I mean, you're sending back names into the grave anyway, so it's really good.
Yeah.
The Saryuja, because it's a draw deck, you need a draw.
Yeah.
And sometimes specialing off your hand, really good.
Yeah.
So, Appaloosa, because at the end of the rip, once you rip 4, you want to establish this just in case if they have some kind of negates or something with monsters or something. You want to establish this as fast as possible. That's it for the Link monsters. You play this because it's a Fiend and also draws to discard one's really good.
Yes.
Sometimes the Reborn is also kind of nice too. Never did the Reborn, always did the draw to discard one though.
Yeah.
Baguska, this is your oh shit button. Also is a Fiend, very nice interaction as well.
I didn't even know that. I thought it was a beast.
Absolutely, yeah, no, everyone thinks it's a beast. No, he's a Fiend. There is a time where you also hand rip them after even the... Let's say they hand trap you or something. You hand rip them for 4. You make your full board, and then you make this on ending a combination.
Yeah.
So that way they can't really do anything, and then you deck Devastator them on game 3.
That's really nice.
This because it's a Fiend. It's your Zeus of the deck.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
They all be fiending.
Absolutely. And then for your 2 non-fiends, this is my rank 8s of choice. Of course, you play the card that says win in time.
Draw 3.
You draw 3, burn for 24. It's always a
That
good
card's
feeling.
so nice.
It's
dude.
very, very good. But guess what? I never made it out of it.
No?
No, because every time I either got nibbed and played through nibbed and killed them, or B, I never had the opportunity to make this because they hand trapped me and I still killed them because they just hand looped themselves. So it was interesting, but in theory it is really good.
Yeah.
And then the card that actually came in clutch a lot, actually.
Zombie Vampire.
Zombie Vampire. I like the fact that it says that you can make your opponent also mill, and that you can special summon 1 from either side of the grave.
Yeah.
Once you detach 1. So the first thing too is that because you have 2, if you can only make 2 level 8s on the field, you make this just to detach 1 of them to make them mill 4, and you mill 4. And there's interactions like I was telling you earlier that you can special summon Snow off of this and then bounce it from there and then continue to play from here.
Yeah.
That's really good.
No, that sounds nice.
Absolutely.
Alright, let's get into the side deck right now.
Side deck. Side deck is kind of wonky, but I'll explain. I think this should be pretty obvious. If you're playing a Dark World deck, you should be playing this card. You don't really normal summon, so this should be your normal summon of the deck of choice.
Yes, sir.
Self-explanatory. I play the Gamma package because I'm extremely afraid of Shifter and Droll.
Yeah.
So you play the Gamma package. Spoiler alert, I don't play Called By. I probably should be playing Called By. But if I can hand rip my opponent, I guess it really doesn't matter. But this did come up enough where I warranted to keep playing it. And then the last for the monsters, I played the 1 gold.
Oh, how did that work out for you?
In theory, it was really good. I've only actually resolved the effect maybe twice. So the theory behind it is, if you're going into game 2, majority of the time you don't have to hand rip your opponent. So you side in this and side out 1 Silva. And the whole concept of it is, if they make a board, you can do the same thing with Cerulli with Silva, but instead you replace it with gold, and you start popping the board while continuously bobbing this back to your hand.
That's pretty good.
That is really good. So I've only done it once. It did come up against, like I said, like the Trap Tricks player. I did the same thing, clear the board with this card. It was really nice. But other than that, it's not really necessary. It's more of a flex spot.
Yeah.
For my spells is 1 Change of Heart, and I had to get back my Feather Duster, so this is supposed to be a Feather
The
Duster.
Ghost Feather Duster, bro.
The
It's like
ghosty
not.
Feather
It's, not,
Duster,
it's,
you know?
it's like not existent.
Of course.
Love this artwork.
Yeah. But these cards are really good.
Yeah.
Never sided them in though, believe it or not. Because game 3 scenarios, either way, I was already going into game 3, making me go first, so there was no point of siding these in. But
Yeah.
in theory, this is pretty good, I guess. For my traps, you just play the 3 evenly because you need to clear boards as fast as possible.
Yeah.
So if you're not gonna be, if you're afraid of playing gold and it breaking in your hand or something, even though you shouldn't be, then you put these in instead. So I don't know, it's pretty good. Never sided in though. And then the card I sided in almost every game.
Eradicator.
Eradicator, yes sir, yes
So
sir.
what was the? Like obviously there's a purpose, but like what were you using it for specifically?
So, it's the same concept what I was saying about the Appaloosa after you ripped your opponent's hand for 4, or even 5, depending if you had ended up with some really awesome rotation as well on your side. So the concept is, once your Cerulli activates, you're going to activate Thrust to search. And majority of the time people like to search the talents or something to look at their opponent's hand to rip one, or the last card. But I can really care less. Majority of the time, I actually want to set this off my deck. So once I rip the deck for 4, or rip the hand for 4, Majority of the time, the only thing I'm mostly afraid of is a spell, specifically. So if you end up with like a Grapha that isn't the fusion, you can activate this to tribute for cost, and then call spells, and then majority of the time they're going to be losing from there regardless.
Yeah.
But it did come up a lot, actually. Every time I went game 3, went first, I always had to use that. I always saw this card. Very, very strong. But yeah, that's it for the side deck, and that's it for the main deck.
All right. Well, congratulations, man.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to give a quick shout out to the boys. TGS, baby!
That's the boys.
Of course, shout them out.
All
Best
right.
local in the place.
Like the video, subscribe.